My name is Richard Rosenberg, and I'm the artistic director and conductor of the National Music Festival in Chestertown, Maryland. A lot of people have been complaining that the music industry, the concert music or classical music industry is dying. And it is for all of the organizations that are not reinventing themselves and being relevant to the community that they serve. You go to the music conservatories, colleges, universities all over the globe, and you meet these incredibly talented musicians who are hell-bent to leather to learn their instruments to be the best they possibly can and perpetuate the music, the repertoire, the art of the present and of our collective history. When I was a student at the Aspen Music Festival, I wound up having to sell my piano in order to afford to be there. And many, many students of music are in the same situation. We call these musicians apprentices because they really are on the cusp of their professional career. They're not coming here to learn where to put their fingers, but they're learning how to wrap their heads around coping with their first jobs. They get their first jobs pretty much directly out of this festival. And one of the jobs of the mentors at the festival is to help the musicians procure their first work. They get their first jobs, they're on probation for the first year that they have these jobs, and no one's taught them how to make that transition from being a student to being a professional. So they are at a very high caliber. They are those athletes of their instruments. They know what their embouchures have to do and what their fingers have to do. They know what the music has to do, but how to do that in rapport, in ensemble with all the other musicians. That's what this is about. The byproduct of this is that the community that it serves gets to hear some really first-rate music. The programming usually has to consist of something that Caitlin and I want to hear. I mean, we're working so hard to do this. I'd like to hear some pieces I don't often get to hear. It needs to be something that will allow the musicians to learn their craft, to hone their craft, and to learn repertoire that they're likely to take auditions on for their professional jobs. And then there has to be something that I know the audience is going to love, and there has to be something that I know that everyone is going to hate. Because if you don't have that context of what you don't like, then you don't know why you do like what you do. So we try to mix it up. We do a number of jazz pieces. We do some cross-media pieces. Last year we did a composition for Nora the Piano Cat with orchestra, a concerto written by this cat in collaboration with a composer from Lithuania. We did a piece called Frankenstein by H.K. Gruber, which is really off the wall, and people either loved it or hated it. But no one was just looking at their watch. They were always like hitting it to make sure it was working if they didn't like it. And if they did like it, I think they showed it in their applause and their enthusiasm. A couple of years back, when I was in Arkansas, the city fathers of the city I lived in their infinite wisdom, put a 9,000 strong Harley-Davidson convention in our city opposite the music festival. None of our concert venues were insulated for sound, and it was hard to compete, Mozart and 9,000 Harley-Davidsons. One of them could drown out an orchestra. So we found a workaround, but one of the things I wanted to make sure is that the Harley-Davidson folks who were coming to town, mostly lawyers, doctors, grandparents, and so forth, we wanted to make sure that they didn't think we were angry at them in any way. So I found a composition by this crazy Swedish composer, Staffan Mosenmark, called Vroom, for 100 Harley-Davidsons, and we did this composition. It was a fun concert, one of the largest audiences I've ever had, but a very bad carbon footprint. This year we're doing a concert on our final Chestertown Farmers Market concert that's going to be an orchestra of vegetables, which our musicians and audience members who want to can purchase from the vendors, and then take some power tools. We'll make gourds and flutes and whatnot from these instruments and do some sort of bizarre improvisation. So it's fun to do some off-the-wall things, and we do some very serious things as well. We do concerts in churches. We do concerts in Fountain Park. We do concerts in bank lobbies. We do two events at the K&L Garage in which people are sitting on the lifts. We put cushions down, and it's a wonderful environment with great acoustics. Musicians like pushing the envelope, and I think audiences do too. People come to a garage for their auto repairs, and they don't think this is a place where I could do something that's artistically, emotionally gratifying. So I think breaking down the barriers is the real key to reaching out to our audiences and to making it more exciting for the musicians.